Hey everyone, Trevor at Top Loaded Gaming here, and I'm so pissed off right now that Nintendo and Konami are starting to blur together in my mind. Am I fucking going crazy? If you haven't heard yet, there was a fan who remade the game Metroid 2 for the PC. Metroid 2, of course, The Return of Samus, originally released for the Game Boy. This remake looks fucking amazing. So what happened? What went wrong? Well, this guy spends nearly a decade working on his fan-made game, and he releases it to the fans for free. For free. So people start downloading it, right? And the word is spreading, websites are generating buzz about it, and within 24 hours, fucking Nintendo gets it taken down and essentially said, fuck you to the fans. Oh, but Nintendo wasn't done yet. See, back in February, a fan started archiving Nintendo Power magazines, and he put them online for those of us who would like to read them. And then Nintendo shut him down too. What in the fuck? Considering the state of the company after the sales of the Wii U, it would seem to me that pissing off fans is the last thing you would want to do. Because when you release the next, and it's again some mediocre substandard system compared to what's out there, with no doubt gimmicky controllers again, the hardcore fans will be the only ones buying the shit. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love Nintendo. And I'm not saying that the Wii U isn't good, or the Wii for that matter. Fuck, I have the Wii U, I have the Wii, and I have a 3DS. But come on, Nintendo, make a fucking system worthy of the fucking juggernaut that is Nintendo. Grow a fucking pair and compete with Microsoft and Sony. That or fucking call it quits as far as hardware goes. Pull a Sega. Hopefully you make better games than they did once going software only. But at least then, maybe some goddamn attention would be on the games and not the console, peripherals, or, controller fucking gimmicks. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Metroid first. See, what pisses me off. See this? This is Metroid 2. I still have my copy. And some of us love the idea of a revamped version. Nintendo has not done anything with this game since it came out 25 fucking years ago. In fact, Nintendo, for some fucking reason, hasn't done anything with the 2D Metroid since 2004 on the Game Boy Advance with Metroid Zero Mission. It's a remake of the first Metroid that originally came out for the NES with the more updated Super Metroid style graphics. What's fucking confusing to me, right? You release Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island in 92. You don't make another 2D Mario game for 14 years. In 2006, New Super Mario Bros. Releases for the DS. Sells 30 million copies. Okay, so proof you should have been making 2D games all along. I mean, this is before the indie game scene explosion. So 3 years later in 2009, you release New Super Mario Bros. For the Wii and sell just under 29 million copies. New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS sold 10 million. Despite lackluster Wii U sales, you still managed to sell 5 million copies of New Super Mario Bros. Wii U. Even the new Super Luigi U sold 2 million copies. Mario Maker sold just under 4 million copies. Donkey Kong Country Returns sold 6 million. The 3DS version sold almost 2 million. My fucking point in all this is people obviously still want to play as their favorite Nintendo characters, and we still want them in 2D. I never understood why you motherfuckers stopped making 2D games when the 64 came out. 14 years, man. Let's follow the logic here. Axiom Verge, which is a Metroidvania style of game, and it's essentially a spiritual successor for the 2D Metroid franchise. So Axiom Verge comes out, and it is considered a success on its first fucking day. And meanwhile, you guys come out with Metroid Prime Federation Force. Look, if you guys gave up on Metroid, fine. But then don't blame fans when they take things into their own hands. This guy wasn't trying to make a dime off the game. This is chicken shit. And the guy that made Another Metroid 2 remake, he's saying, not to blame Nintendo, which is admirable. But at some point, logic has to take over. I could understand if Nintendo was in the process of making a new 2D Metroid. But they haven't announced shit. And they had their chance on their fucking Treehouse event. So no, I don't get the excuse that they need to protect their IP. To me, I see this as no different than when Hideo Kojima retweeted a dude's Metal Gear fan art and Konami had it taken down off of Twitter for copyright. I think what hurts the most is there is no reason why Nintendo couldn't be serious contenders with this uptick in interest of retro-style video games. Why is there not a Virtual Boy collection for the 3DS? It didn't have to get a physical release. You could have gauged the audience and released the digital copy first, and maybe taken orders for people that wanted a physical copy if, there was a demand for it. All these games like, Bloodstain, Ritual of the Night, granted, I've only seen the demo, but it looks faithful to Symphony of the Night and other Castlevania, Metroidvania games, so I included it. But games like Braid, Shadow Complex, Deadlight, Meat Boy, Timbo the Badass Elephant, Dust. At one time, Nintendo was the king of these types of games, which seriously has me thinking, maybe we would get better games from Nintendo if they would just bow out of the console market and just make fucking games. But maybe I'm just pissed off and not thinking clearly. But fuck it. I've said everything I have to say about it. If I'm branded a Nintendo hater, so be it. Speaking of my hate for Nintendo, I recently got 138 issues of Nintendo Power, spanning from issue number 1 to issue 259, added to my video game collection through one of my buddies. I would have been working on this recent pickups video today if it wasn't for the shit from Nintendo, so thanks a lot, you bunch of cunts. I say today, but with my real job, by the time everything is rendered and uploaded, I'm sure it'll be 4 days by the time I get this up. So if you have sympathy or want to play devil's advocate for Nintendo over the Metroid remake, I'd like to see you play Keanu in this fucking story. In the process of scanning these issues, this guy most likely ruins multiple copies of Nintendo Powers, probably from his personal collection or donated from other passionate fans so that other people could enjoy them again. What's that? Someone's attempting to give fans the same enjoyment that he is able to experience for free? Nintendo's ruling? Fuck no, we can't have that. Shut that shit down. The one defense Nintendo has is that they announced on July 26th that they are releasing a companion book to go with the release of the NES Mini Classic called Playing with Power. And it stated that there will be some excerpts and pages pulled from Nintendo Power, hence the takedown. But it's not going to be anywhere near what the original magazine was. No way Nintendo could ever reproduce these magazines in its original form ever again. And yet, they want to get it off the internet. Dildos for everyone.
We here at Nintendo have to fight injustices like this and protect our IPs from, fans enjoying things online.
I could never get behind something like this. What harm could come to Nintendo's IPs when a niche group of people view these magazines online? It's not like there are millions and millions of people that want every issue of Nintendo Power. The typical person, I'm willing to bet, is someone that had a subscription back in the day and just wants to maybe thumb through that one issue they remember the most. Or hardcore collectors like us. What the fuck, Nintendo? Maybe if you were more concerned with your games instead of this bullshit, you wouldn't have fans making games for you. In closing, I'm going to say, Nintendo, get your shit together. I feel like you are possibly a couple years away from having Konami status. and then you'll have to do some desperate PR stunt claiming you want to win us back. It'll just be fucking lame. So please, by all means, figure this shit out. I'm not saying that this is what's going to happen, just that I see it as a possibility in the future. But I want to know what you think. Am I being fair to Nintendo or just being a dick? It wouldn't be the first time I'm accused of being a dick. This is Trevor at Top Loaded Gaming saying, fuck Nintendo fans, apparently.